I don't even want to talk about this new law of cosines yet. I want to show you guys why we need it. So right away, go ahead, set up the diagram for one. Set up that diagram for problem number one. Go ahead, draw a triangle RST with those measurements for me. I'm just going to pretend I wasn't here on Thursday. What's that lowercase r mean? Side across from angle r. Yep. S angle T 120. All right. Let's have a little chat here. Let's start from the beginning of the unit. Hill, SAS, 30, 60, 45, 45, sine, cosine, tangent. Why is it not going to work on this problem? It's not a right triangle. Got to have a right triangle. Law of sines. Why will that not work? Ready? You can go, what am I trying to find? T? So I could go T over sine of 120, right? And set that equal to 11 over your move. You're not going to do it, right? You're not going to introduce a new variable. Does everyone see why law of sines? No good. You don't have enough information. You need at least two angles to do law of sine. I only have one. All right, so now I'm going to introduce a new one called the law of cosines. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A. It is a mouthful. I'm sorry, it's a mouthful, but we need it. Not on the formula sheet either. So yes, law of sines and law of cosines we need for Friday. I won't give them to you. Law of cosines. What does each piece mean? Let's roll. What do you think A means? It's a side. But which side? Because you got three of them here. It is the side across from the angle in the problem. The side across from the angle in the problem. What is the angle in the problem I gave you? 120. What's the side across from it? T. So I'm going to start this off with T squared. It is the side across from the angle involved in the problem. Guess what B and C represent? The other two sides. I didn't put down the other two. In this case, it would be what? 11 and 11 squared plus 12 squared, the other two sides. Minus 2. What'd you just plug in for B and C? It's going to be the same. You're going to plug in 11 and 12. And then what's the deal with this cosine of A? Cosine of the angle across from whatever side you started with. And what angle do I have? So don't rate, not 120, cosine of 120. And you should, and I'm going to do it with you, you should be able to plug all this into your calculator all in one line. So T squared equals, I'll do it with you. So what did we start with, 11 or 12? Doesn't matter, 11. So 11 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 11 times 12 times cosine button, 120. And then I'm hoping we all end up with 397. If you don't, I always know a common mistake. Instead of the subtraction sign, some of you crazy kids hit the negative sign instead. Make sure you hit the subtraction sign. Have a little self-respect. 397, that seems pretty large for a side. It's not my side, right? What's it equal? What's 397 equal to? T squared. We're not at T yet. Now to finish it up on both sides. Finish it up, both sides. What do I need to do here? Take the Square root of both sides. Look up at the rounding directions and make sure I round to the nearest integer. $25.
T equals 19. Oh yeah. T equals 19.92488. That's equal to 20.
Thanks. In case anybody wanted to know where you got that from. All right. So law signs, I didn't have enough information, so I have a new formula now called the law of cosines. Anything right now where everything came from, can you get 397 on your calculator? Because all I'm going to do right now, it's going to go up in difficulty how I use this formula now. This is just finding a side. Done. All good? All right. Next one. Here we go. This one I get a little fired up about, so just be prepared. A is 4, C is 6, cosine. Ooh, hey, I didn't give you the angle. I gave you the cosine of the angle. I'm not going to plug that in for B because the angle's not 1/16. That's the cosine. And we're trying to find side B. So here's the law of cosines. Do not fall into this trap that you say A, B, C, and that's exactly what you plug in for them. That's not how this works. All right? The A value is the side across from the angle in the problem. What's the angle in the problem we have info about? Angle B. So how am I going to start this off with? B squared. You do not just plug in the values of A, B, and C. The first number or first variable you plug in is the side across from the angle in the problem. We knew something about B, angle B. I look across, so I'm starting out this problem with B squared. What about the other two sides? What are my other two sides, B and C? 6 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times 6 and 4, whatever you plugged in for B and C, 6 and 4. Now here's where it's going to get a little challenging. Cosine of 1/16. Is this an angle measure? No, I'm actually giving you this value right now. It is 1/16. The only reason to put a cosine with it is if it's an actual degree measure. That's the only time I want to put a cosine with it is if it's an actual degree measure. If they give me the value, I'm just plugging that sucker in. No need to put a cosine with it. So you guys go ahead. You can put that in one line of the calculator. You should see this is a nice number you end up getting out. That nice number you're getting out, 14, what do we end up with? B squared equals 49. Nice job. We take the square root on both sides. That side is a length of 7. So only put the cosine with it if it's a degree measure. All right, if they give you the value of cosine, just plug it in. Everyone see the difference between the last two problems right there? Because now we're going to solve for a different part of this equation now. Everyone good? The difference that we all see the difference. Angle measure given in number 1, the actual value given in number 2. All right, set up 3 now. Now we're going hardcore. What are you asking? What am I asking you to find in this one? Cosine B. All right. You have three sides. Which side are you going to start this one out with? Which one am I going to plug in for a squared? Again, don't plug in A, B, and C. You plug in the side across from the angle in the problem. So what's the side across from the angle in the problem? Angle B, what's across from it? 7. Guys, ask now. Why is he plugging in 7 when that's the B value and not the A? You don't understand law of cosines yet. It's the side across from the angle. All right, keep filling it in here for me. Going to need some a stud here. 1, Maddie, you're up. Let's roll. 7 squared equals other two sides. Minus 2 times, what were your B and C values again? 10, 5. And now, hey, take a look. Now it's just, thank you, cosine of B. This now, instead of solving for the left side, this is what I need you to get all by itself, kiddos. This is what I'm asking you to solve for. Get that bad boy all by itself. I highly recommend you don't go to the calculator yet. I'll show you why. 7 squared. 10 squared. 25. I did it again. I did that last period. 5 squared. One job. Your embarrassment. 2 times 10 times 5. Oh boy, you might need the calc for that. I don't know. 100 cosine B. Here's why I asked you didn't go to the calculator right away. Everybody, focus in. You cannot combine all three on the right side. You cannot do 100 plus 25 minus 100. Here's why. Don't copy this down. I'm going to erase it. If I asked you to do this, minus 100x, you going to combine all three? Darn right you're not. You can't combine all three. That's got a variable with it. So does that one. So what are the only two here I can combine? The 100 and the 25. That is the only two you can combine. Can't combine the rest. So I'm going to have 49 equals 125 minus 100 cosine B. Don't do it. Don't subtract the 125 and the 100. You can't. The 100 has a variable. All right, who's a stud in the algebra class here? I still need to get cosine B alone. What's my next move then if I can't combine these two? Can't. Got to get this by itself. What's my next move here? Take the 125 and subtract it over. Go. Take the 125, subtract it over. Negative 76. Okay. Hey, whoa. What's still left on the right side? Here's where a mistake may happen. Thank you. Negative. Negative. Don't drop it. It's still there. Negative cosine 100 cosine B. Your last move to get the cosine B by itself. Last move. How do I get that negative 100 out of there? You got this. Come on. Algebra stud number 14. Divide by negative 100. Yep. And I would appreciate it, guys, on these type of problems, could you just leave your answer as a fraction in lowest terms? And your calculator does that for you. Hit your math. After, if you have a decimal on your calculator right now, hit your math button and ask it to change it to a fraction. So as a fraction, simplest form, what do we end up with here? 29, good talk. 16? 19 over 25. And what did I ask you to solve for? That's all right. Don't take it any further. Don't be a hero. That's all I wanted right there. Cosine B, 19 over 25. Anything there? Because I'm going to take this problem one more step. And that's it. Anything from you guys? All right, go ahead. Set up the next one. Set up the next one. Anybody doing anything exciting over the weekend? Nope, didn't think so. All right. I tried to ask there. Anybody, or just balled up in the corner of your rooms? Oh, nice, nice. Not a concert guy, I'll be honest with everybody. I just don't like a group that much to go to a concert, spend all the money, and listen to songs I might know 2 of them. I think I've been to 2 concerts in my entire life. Find angle E. Okay, find angle E. We're going to do the same thing we did in the last problem. We're going to solve for cosine of E, and then we're going to take it one more step. All right, how do I start off law of cosines? Which one of these sides? Let's roll. Oh, boy. Hey, 12. Here we go. Which side do I start it out with? 8. Yep. Side across from the angle. 8 squared equals, who's going to finish this beast for me? 5. Here we go. 5 squared. 8 squared equals 5 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times. And then we got cosine, in this case, angle E rocking out. All right, let's get cosine E alone. So I can find angle E. Let's get it alone. Remember, you can't combine everything on the right side. 64. I got 25 and 25. Ooh, what do I get there? 2 times 5 times 5, 50. Cosine E. 16. Which 2 can I combine on the right side? And I end up with 50 minus 50 cosine E. Can't combine, cannot combine, cannot combine. Next move to get cosine E by itself. Yep. 26. Subtract the 50 over. Yep, yep. So we end up with what there? 14 equals, common mistake, drop the negative down. One more step. 4. What do I get the cosine E by itself? Divide by negative 50. We're on a roll here, everybody. Cosine E. What's that? Negative 7/25 over 25. I didn't want cosine E. What am I looking for? E, angle E. I don't want to tell you what to do because we've been doing it all unit long. What do I need to use if I need to find an angle measure? I'm finding an angle. What? Inverse. There you go, Billy. In this case, inverse cosine. Yep. So if I'm going to find an angle, I take this one more step and do inverse cosine on my calculator. Plug in negative 7 over 25. And what was it? Nearest degree? 6. Nearest degree when you're ready. 107 degrees for angle E. Oh boy. Try that again. Well, go ahead just to make sure. I want to make sure you know. I should have said something too, but got that on your calculator? Okay. Everyone good? It's fine. All right, last one. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to watch you solve it on your own. The old beam on the searchlight. situated at an offshore point W. All right, so I'm going to have point W. And it's going to sweep back and forth to points A and B. So it looks like I have triangle WAB. W to A, 12 kilometers. And where's my other one there? W to B, 25. And then A to B, 29. I'm looking for AWB to the nearest 10th. You and your group, you by yourself, whatever you prefer. I'll walk around, take a peek at what you're doing. And then we'll talk final answer here. $96.9. Keep going if you're not finished with that yet. $96.9. At least, I'm not expecting you to grab a textbook with the time we have left, but at least try out the regions problem and get that done because that shouldn't be an issue tonight. 96.9 at the end.